Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Hello, welcome. Hello, Facebook. Hello, Insta. Let me just get going live here. How is everybody today? Let's raise your vibe. Super stoked you're here. Oh my goodness. There we go. Hello. How is it going? Good morning. Let's raise our vibe. I want you guys to really start thinking about your goals. With me, say hello in the chat when you're here. Hello. All right, guys, I want you to lean in. Okay, let's get real. Are you feeling like you are meant for more? I hope so. I hope you are. Because you are meant to grow. You are meant to evolve. And you're meant to serve your purpose. And yes, even if right now you have this like kick-ass job and you're saying, Delane, I love the work that I do. Awesome. You can love the work that you do and still want more. Yeah, I know. Right? You've got the job that has all the perks and the benefits. And you know in your soul, maybe you know it's your purpose. Maybe you're already living it. But maybe you also know that you have the kick-ass job with all the perks and benefits and vacation time and whatever, but you're settling. You see, even settling is a habit, and it's taught to us. We saw it as we grew up. We are taught to be grateful for what we have, that there is always someone else that has less. Were you ever told that? But here's the thing. You can be grateful for what you have and change this habit so that you are not just surviving, but that you're thriving. And now you might be skeptical of that. But again, lean into it for just a minute. Entertain me for just a minute. Because if I've triggered something in you, that's your paradigm. AKA the keeper of all your habits and your beliefs. And it's kicking you hard right now. And that's okay. And now if this is your first time with me, before we jump into this topic, I'll cover and simplify paradigms for just a second, okay? So that you can fully understand how it is controlling your behavior. And I know I chat about paradigms a lot. So this you can never hear it enough, trust me. But if you want to get better results in any area of your life, it doesn't matter. Maybe you want that job or that relationship or that self-love or the money in your bank account. It doesn't matter what you want in your life. Whatever results you want, you need to understand your paradigms, okay? So kind of make sure that we're really clear, because your paradigm is the sum of every experience you've ever had since you were born. Where you grew up, who you were raised by, who you hang out with, all of it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, okay? And it was in you, in your little life, by the time you were like 8 or so, okay? So if we look even at this concept from another perspective, there's actually 4 stages of competence, okay? And you've probably heard of these stages before, because what they do is they suggest that we are initially unaware of how we are, like when we're little, right? We're very unaware of what we know or how little we know. We don't even know that we know so little. Then we recognize our incompetence, right? We want to scale up a bit. And we begin consciously to learn and skill up. That's stage 2. And then we consciously use it, which is stage 3. And eventually, we can use the skill without even consciously having to do it. Okay, that's a habit 2. Does that make sense? Maybe let's dive into each of them individually. Okay, so that you can kind of nail down, oh, yep, that's the stage I'm in. Okay. So the unconscious incompetence when we don't know what we don't know. We give ourselves permission, though, to not know. Maybe we say, oh, it's because I'm so young, or it's a new job, or I'm not from that generation. I'm not expected to know those sorts of things. I don't know. We give ourselves permission to not know. But the thing is when it comes to producing results that you want, most people are in this stage. They're unaware of their power. So when this power enters, flows through to and through us, right? We automatically are put into this different vibration, right? So like if you think of yourself, and I always refer back to like this stick person, okay? Let's say this is the mind, even though your mind is in every cell of your body, and this is your body, okay? If you're thinking X-type thoughts, you're going to get X-type results, okay? So even when you don't know what you don't know, you've just got, everybody has this energy flowing to and through them, okay? We know that that's what our body is. Science tells us this, okay? We're just a mass amount of molecules moving at a fast speed, right? We have this X-type energy flowing to us. Well, it only accepts these X-type thoughts, and then it puts our body into an X-type vibration, and we get X-type results, right? Not only do these individuals that are kind of in this unconscious incompetence, right? And again, this isn't a bad thing. This is like the majority of humans. Nothing's good or bad. It just is, right? Not only do these individuals not know get at different results, they aren't even aware that there are different results to get. They don't even think it's possible for them. And they see other people getting results, but they think those people are unique or special or like an anomaly, gifted, lucky. Lucky the Irish, right? So they go through life thinking like that. They think this is just the way it is. I'll never be wealthy. It's not in the cards for me, right? And they live their life controlled by this paradigm, by this habitual thinking. Does this sound familiar? And here you are thinking, all right, there's 4 stages. I'm likely a 3 or 4. Come on, I'm pretty aware, right? You're likely a 1. Fact is, the majority of humanity is in this stage, and it stems from the programming that's been put in them, right? And then we just follow the followers, and it's normal. So, I mean, let me give you an example, only because I read it this morning as I was studying. So I'm studying Lead the Field right now, which is an incredible program, okay? And I was reading this example, and it really stuck out to me on how for generations we've been following the followers. Now, this is kind of an older example, but think about it in today's terms. So it talks about how this vice-like pressure of conformity lasts for many years, okay? So how we're following the followers. So here's an example, and it gives like military conformity, right? And of course, we still have military now. But so it says, out of school, our young men may go into military service. Here again, he's gripped by a vice of conformity far greater than he's ever known in school. He still acts like the other fellows and talks and thinks much like they do. And now he even looks exactly like them. Same shoes, same clothes, same actions, everything. He becomes a unit in a thing called the military. And while that's the way things have unfortunately had to be, the effect of such standardization is, of course, enormous. Now, let's say our young man is 25, out of school and out of the service. He goes back to his hometown. Unless he's married, he then usually goes back to his wife's hometown. But let's say he's still single. For the first time in 25 years, he finds himself really on his own for the first time. He must make a decision as to what to do, and it's a little frightening. One day, he's standing on the corner, not knowing just what to do, when he's met up by an old friend from his school days, and his friend asks, "What are you doing?" He says, "Nothing." "Well, why don't you come down and work where I work? It's a good job, the pay is regular, 40 hours a week, fringe benefits, the whole thing." So he does. And that's often the end of him. By taking the job suggested by his friend, he's still going along with the gang, but he's also giving less attention to the selection of a career that then he would be giving to selecting a shirt and a necktie. On the job, what's the most natural thing in the world for him to do? It's to continue to go along with the gang. He's been doing it already for 25 years. Why should he change now? So on the job, he looks around to see the other fellows are doing the same work, and he begins doing it the exact same way. You see, no one has told him that he's living in the golden age, that mankind has been dreaming of and building towards for thousands of years. No one has told him that from now on, what appears to him will be in his hands, not his parents, not his teachers, not his commanding officers, not his associates, but it's all up to him from here on out. He has before him perhaps a half a century or more in the greatest age the world has ever known. Now, what's he going to do with his most productive years? And this is what hit me. Okay, I'm in my productive years. Well, with a steady job, he can now marry his girl, which he does. And if he often goes out to a large suburban development and buys a house or rents an apartment that looks very much like every other house or apartment on the street, as far as the eye can see, makes him feel comfortable, like he belongs. What he actually does is disappear again, as he did in the classroom and in the service. He has a steady job, a wife, a place to live, a new car, the biggest paycheck, and the highest standard of living the world has ever known. A wonderful start to life. Now, what does he do? Well, he works 40 hours a week. This leaves him 72 hours a week when he's neither working nor sleeping. 72 free hours a week, almost twice the time that is spent on the job earning a living for his wife and future children. What does he do with his free 72 hours a week? As a rule, he'll do the same thing that the other fellows are doing with their free 72 hours a week. He doesn't do much of anything. On a typical afternoon, he quits work right on the dot and drives his little car to his abode. He goes into the kitchen, kisses his wife, and says, "I'm tired." It's believed, he says, that because he used to hear his father and grandfather say it on the days when men actually worked hard enough to get tired. The wonderful technological and sociological advances which have been given to him, which have given freedom from the back-breaking toil and grinding poverty, so much more energy and good health. And yet he says, "I'm tired." He conforms. And it goes on and on and on. Does that sound familiar to you? Does that speak to you? These are the habits that we form. He heard his father and grandfather say, "I'm tired," and go sit in front of the TV. But when you're sitting there and watching TV, you're watching actors and actresses make really good money living out their purpose. And you've escaped to this far off land, right? But it's not actually serving you, but it's habit. We say we're tired. We say we have no energy. Again, that's habit. You have more energy in your pinky finger to light up this room for a month Science shows us this. We have crazy amounts of energy. We just don't use it. It's habit. But it's what everybody's doing. It's what everybody's always done. It's what we've always seen. It's what we grew up with. And again, it's not right or wrong. I'm not blaming anybody. It's just, it is what it is. Like I talked about before when we talked about cultural paradigms. This is how things like racism, sexism, hatred start too, right? Just habit. You saw somebody else do it and then we follow the followers, right? But it doesn't make it right. And then you have the choice. You can move into stage 2. And many people who are in personal development, so if you're hanging out with me right now, you might be in stage 2. If you're hanging out here, you dig some level of personal development, right? These are the people that are aware of their power that is coming in, and they choose a new idea. So as that energy is flowing to and through you, you start entertaining something new. We call that a Y-type idea. No longer X-type, no longer like everybody else. And they may intellectually choose a Y idea, but they don't understand how to build it. Okay? I remember when I first started entertaining more. I read all the books, went to all the seminars, got all the letters at the end of my name, because that's what I was taught. If you want more, you just get more courses, more schooling. So I did that. But I wasn't taking action that needed. And if I was taking action, it would get me like small incremental gains, get my 2% raise every year. I was climbing the corporate ladder, right? But I didn't know how to truly impress this new idea on my subconscious mind. So then my paradigm, my habits, they actually go unchanged. And I get frustrated as hell because I read all the books. Come on, I got all of them. Right? Read all of them. Library of books. And I went to the courses. I walked on fire with Tony Robbins. I was doing all the things. Go to my convention every year. Right? But my habits were still not changed. Right? So even though I wanted something different, I wanted a different result, I stayed in an X-type vibration, and our thoughts set up our vibration, right? What our body does. That's what our body is, massive molecules vibrating, which sets up our actions, which sets up our results. And it's this cycle, right? So you might be hanging out in stage 2. But let me tell you about where the goods start to come in. Stage 3 is your conscious competence. Okay. And at this stage, this is where you start to understand how to build that Y-type idea. But you really have to concentrate on impressing it upon yourself. Like you're starting to use your mental muscles. And it's an uncomfortable vibration. Okay. So you have to understand when you start, your body has been vibrating at an X-type frequency for your entire life, right? X-type results. You're now saying, no, subconscious. Mine's name is Linda. I say, no, Linda, listen, Linda. Okay. I'm starting to entertain something different. So I'm entertaining, and it puts me in this frequency of like this XY, right? It's scary. So scary. The second I start entertaining a new idea, my paradigm comes in and says, whoa, what are you doing? This is what we do. Come back here. It's nice and safe, right? But sometimes it changes my behavior, which then changes my results. Okay, this, like stage 3, this is what I coach people on how to do. Because my goal for humanity is for more than 1% of our population, 1 to 3, of our population is in stage 4. There's no reason. We are all working with the exact same energy flowing to and through us. There's no reason why every single one of us is not an unconscious competent, okay? Because this is where the magic happens. And this, for those that have, these are the people that have had a lot of practice in building those positive ideas, those Y-type ideas, so much that they become second nature. And you start to say, yep, of course, this is my new normal. It's expected. The growth, the results, manifesting anything that you want. And as a result, they're able to get whatever they desire out of life. They earn millions of dollars. They maintain healthy bodies. They're developing these loving relationships, and with less effort. Less effort. Remember I read to you about the fly? Just trying to fly through that pane of glass. Whereas if he would just stop trying so hard, he could take a step back, look 10 feet to the right, and there was an open door and he could just fly out to freedom. Yet he's probably going to die trying to fly into that glass. Okay? It doesn't have to be that way. It's not meant to be that way. That's why it feels like crap when you're doing it. You are meant to have things with ease and flow. But people that are in this last stage, right? These are the people that acknowledge that they cannot get different results with the same level of thinking that got them their current results. The definition of insanity. I hope that is this clear? Does this make sense? Does this resonate with you? That you can absolutely start entertaining different ideas. You do not have to be like the man in my story, okay? That goes just from one set of sheep, follows the next pack, follows the next pack. You might move from the school system into the military, into the workplace. They're still following. And again, there's nothing wrong. I'm not saying you're going, oh, now I feel like crap because that's totally me. No, that's not the intention. It's just to raise awareness for you. Because if you've been feeling this feeling of stuck, like I'm supposed to be doing, I say this, guys, because I remember being there. I've actually known my entire life that this was the work I was meant to do. I like to say I took the scenic route, right? I took the long way. That's okay. Timing is perfect. And your timing is perfect too. Just let this be your wake up. Let it take your head off and shake it up a bit and put it back on. Okay? This is possible. But I'm not going to lie to you. It's hard to do without professional help. Believe me. Investing in my coach was the best investment I ever made in my entire life. She and Bob Proctor are on the top of my gratitude list every single day. Knowing how to break bad habits is worth its weight in gold because you're doing it everywhere, right? I went into it going, oh, I want to grow my business. This is what I want. This is my goal. And inadvertently, I have had a positive impact on every single aspect of my life. I wife different. I mom different. I daughter different. I friend different. My relationships are richer. I have so much clarity. I'm comfortable with saying no. That was a habit. I was in the habit of saying yes to everything because I was a people pleaser up until yesterday, right? I say that because while good habits will generate the results that you want in life, bad habits can destroy everything. Truly. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll be the first to admit that I still have bad habits. It's the habits that don't serve me, right? Everyone does. The trick is becoming aware of them and then taking the time to weed them out of our lives so that they're not there forever. right? But most don't do this. They don't recognize that they have habits that aren't serving them. Or even if they do, they think that, oh, it's just the way it is. And conformity is easier. It's not easier. It's not. Remember, a habit is an idea that has been planted in the garden of your subconscious mind, okay? And that it's fed, watered, soiled, fertilized repeatedly, over and over and over again. So after a chunk of time, you act on the idea without even giving it thought, right? And you can see this already in your life, right? So imagine when anything from as simple as getting dressed in the morning, right? You put the same foot, like think of what foot you put in your pants first. Or imagine hopping in the shower. Do you wash the same things in the same order? Right? Honestly, it throws me off if I'm in mid shower and like a kid pops in, is like, hey mom, blah, blah, blah. Like I'm like, oh, where was I at? And then I'm like, damn, that's why I forgot to shave my legs today. Right? Because you threw me off my order. Or imagine like driving somewhere you do frequently, work to home, right? You ever got there and you're like, I don't remember that drive at all. It's habit. And think like back to like putting your pants on. Like I put my right foot in first. And I've tried putting my left foot in first and I like stagger and fall over. Because when I was young, somebody came along and helped me get dressed, right? And they said, put your foot in here. No, not that foot, this foot. Right? And it's so simple, right? But they had, pants prepared as if I was going to put them on, right? And so pretty soon I was doing it like they were doing it. They had planted the seed in my mind and then fed it through repetition. And it's so simple, right? You're thinking, okay, no big deal how I put my pants on. But it is a big deal when you think that how you put your pants on might not matter, but how you think of yourself, how you think of relationships, how you think of love, how you think of money, how you think of work. If you feel like work harder is the best option, how you think of self-care, how you think of your health, how you think of food, how you think of your weight, how you think of exercise, how you think of, right? Those matter because they are literally helping you thrive or die. Right? You develop habits to accomplish everything that you do, but some of them are not productive. So is it possible to change them? Yes, of course it is. The key is to consciously and deliberately start replacing the bad habits with habits that serve you. Or you'll automatically create more unhealthy habits. It's like someone that's hanging out in a bar all the time and says, oh, I'm done hanging out here. I'm quitting drinking. And then they walk across the street to the casino and they start to gamble, right? It's the same thing. Nature abhors a vacuum. Okay? Plug away at these habits and your life will be changed. Changing one or two habits can make such a huge difference in your life. In fact, there's a little note for you. You shouldn't try to change more than 2 habits at once. It'll become too big and it won't be sustainable. You'll probably just get scared and quit. Did I trigger you again? Have you done that already in your life? But if you pick just 1 or 2 habits to replace and then stick to them, right? Until the new behavior becomes automatic. It'll make a huge change in your life. But first you have to choose, what habit do you want to change? What thoughts do you have that are not productive? Changing a habit takes a good amount of energy and understanding, but it's worth it. Worth it. When I was reading this morning, and I love this book, Usquared by Bryce Pritchard. and I was reading, actually, there's a chapter called Usquared. And it says the unspoken, but most people operate with a mindset that assumes success comes one step at a time. The unspoken but popular notion is that we must move systematically from one present level of achievement to the next. Then the thinking goes from that stage, we can begin working towards graduating to still the next higher level in the sequence, gradual progress. This is an unfortunate misconception, and it's clearly reflected in the way that people function. They go about day to day striving to make incremental gains in their performance. That's pretty routine. That's the pathway of conventional growth. But your life simply does not always have to operate that way. Advancing at a measured pace, step by step from where you are to a little bit better, ordinarily feels easier, more natural, and even safer. But at certain areas of your life, you can just as easily think in terms of skipping levels. You can move from your present level of achievement to the next several stages higher in one direct move. You can make the quantum leap. You could become U squared. Instead of accepting present circumstances or being content with gradual improvement, you can go for the breakthrough. U squared implies an explosive jump in your personal performance that puts you far beyond the next logical step. It's a formula for stunning advances in achievement and the realization of your dreams. The concept is one of exponential gains rather than incremental progress. You might compare it to multiplying instead of adding. It means a geometric progression in your effectiveness. That's exciting as well as provocative, but it gets even better. Remember, quantum leaps can come without apparent effort. These are high velocity moves that carry you dramatically higher performance levels without a time-consuming struggle. Quantum leaps seem to violate common sense utterly. The idea of moving a little bit higher, moving at a higher orbit, and skipping several rungs on the achievement ladder in the process strikes people as far-fetched, maybe even outrageous, because it's not habit. After the fact, quantum leaps may be viewed as practical, sensible, even obvious moves, but they typically do not come to you as obvious moves at the moment. Usually, it's in retrospect that you perceive their hidden logic and elegance. Invariably, quantum leaps are not complex or intricate maneuvers. They tend to be simple, energy efficient, and even time-saving. U squared, the quantum leap strategy, can deliver those special dreams and ambitions that you instinctively feel should be yours. But the breakthrough demands a radical departure from some of your habits, or possibly all of them. You know instinctively what you are meant to be doing. You know this, right? But your habits are not allowing you to rise up to it. But your habits are so strong. When we adopt this strategy and commit to breaking our current habits, you will see leaps in your performance permanently. Yes, permanently. You can break any bad habit permanently. And it can be easy. So here's the challenge. Here's your challenge. First, what I want you to write down is I want you to have your goal. I want you to have your dream. And I challenge you to describe it in as much detail as possible. Okay? And remember, if you're trying to break a habit that's not serving you, you have to deliberately replace it with something good, or you will just get another unhealthy habit. Remember, nature abhors a vacuum. This means that every space has to be filled. So you fill it or nature fills it, right? So example, if you have a garden, right? And you're going to plant some things in it, but maybe you don't get around to planting things right away. Well, what starts to pop up? Weeds. Same concept. Nature abhors a vacuum, okay? And I'm often asked, well, how do I recognize that something is even a bad habit? Okay? You recognize it by looking at your behavior, because it's your behavior that's giving you the result that you don't want. And the result will then be attached to a feeling, one that is great. And you see, you can see quantum leaps, or one that is stuck and going nowhere. You'll see it in your results. You can tell everything about what's happening in your subconscious mind based on your results. Easy peasy. It doesn't matter. It plays no favorites. Okay. So write down your goal, write down what you want, write out everything you're thinking about, good and bad. Okay. Everything that thought brings to your mind in crystal clear detail. Okay. And ask yourself, what is the polar opposite of what I just wrote out? Then on a separate sheet of paper, write out the behavior that is opposite of the behavior that you want to change. Okay. And when you're finished, take the old piece of paper and burn it. Burn the negative behavior that you've written down. Shred it, rip it up, whatever. I choose to burn things, but get rid of it. And you might just say, yeah, that's, nice symbolism and everything, Dylan, but will it actually get rid of it? What if you believed that it actually physically and energetically got rid of it? You're releasing it. You just have to believe it's possible. And then you come up with affirmations and write out the positive behavior every single day. Read it frequently. And eventually that new idea will take root in your subconscious. Right? And that negative power over you is gone from lack of nourishment. And I know it sounds silly, but do it. Your habits are controlling you. They are getting current results. And it's time that you got to the bottom of it. To your paradigms. You need to reprogram them, or it's anything you do is temporary. And ask yourselves about the habit that you want to change. Why do I do this? What evidence do I have that this is even a good idea? Where did I get this idea? And you keep digging until you've kind of exhausted every possible scenario, right? You got this. This can be easy. Okay? Pick an undesirable habit today. Do it. Take action. And do this process every day, and it will change your life. And if you'd like to finally turn those desires into lasting results, let me help you. It's what I do best. Okay? I'm going to post a link to my schedule. I want you to book a call. Let's chat about your goals and your habits. Guys, it's free. And it could very well be the answer to everything you've been asking for. Cool, right? When you are ready, the teacher will come. You're ready. So book it in. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I have loved it. Always a pleasure.